Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for your daily dose of the roars, where we scream about the stupid stuff going on in the world of technology. And don't worry, we're not going to be screaming about ARM v6 architecture and how it's a colossal pain in the ass. Because that's not what you actually come here for. You don't actually come here for technology. You just come here for the pantomime of technology. Anyways, I think this is kind of an interesting story. I hate to say it. Elon Musk might be right. Oh, just puts a bad taste in your mouth. But I do think it is an interesting concept with the larger story of what actually goes on in the world of technology. And basically that the winners in the technology race are not necessarily who you think the winners of the technology race are going to be. We see Intel right now, right? Intel is spinning the drain, and it seems absolutely and utterly bizarre, right? The fact that ARM is currently so successful and Intel is utterly floundering. Just if you go back, 10 or 15 years, it doesn't make sense, right? Literally, Intel was not going to produce low power processors. That was the market that ARM was in, because there was simply just not enough value there. They're like, we will cede to ARM all of these smartphones so that we can build server systems, right? And then when Intel realized that, oh my golly, we might actually be leaving a lot of money on the table, and they did try to create their own low power processors. They came out with these things called the Atom processors, and they should have stopped. They should have stomped ARM into the ground. Should have. Didn't work out that way, right? And so it was kind of one of those interesting things. A company that should have been very successful is now basically looking like it'll die. Even in the Google world. Remember when Google brought out Google Plus? Remember when Google was so confident about Google Plus, they were forcing everybody to create Google Plus accounts? And if you made the argument to me, it made sense, right? People already use Gmail. People already use things like Google Maps. People already use YouTube, which is one of the biggest social media sites on the planet. So you simply tie all of this into one kind of profile, one kind of system, and they should be able to fucking ass stomp Mark Zuckerberg into the ground. Mark Zuckerberg should be in a footnote right now, right? In the other timeline, Mark Zuckerberg is on the streets doing meth, wondering what the hell happened to his life. But that's not the timeline we're in. The timeline we're in, Google Plus got stomped. And again, it's like one of those weird, like, what? Like they didn't just not get to the success that they thought they were going to get to. They failed. Google Plus is just fucking gone, right? And that's like the weird stuff we get in the tech world. And so this is interesting coming out of Elon Musk. And basically what Elon Musk is saying with xAI is that if xAI can survive for 2 to 3 years, they may actually win the AI war, right? Because remember, all the syphilitic bastards in Silicon Valley, their big thing is to monopolize everything. They want to own everything for whatever reason, because they are the worst of us. They are the worst of humanity. They have happened to monopolize the key components to modern society, and so everybody kisses their ass. These are the worst. These are literally the worst humanity has to offer. They happen to just be smart. But I do think it's kind of an interesting idea here with Elon Musk saying, hey, if they can survive 2 or 3 years, they might actually win the entire game. So coming from Business Insider, inside xAI's all hands, Elon Musk says that if the company can survive the next 2 to 3 years, it will come out on top. And I think this is, again, one of those things to consider. Because you look at Sam Altman, right? Sam Altman has just fucking lost his goddamn mind, right? There ain't no mind left in that skull anymore. This whole thing where they want to spend $1.4 trillion on CapEx expenses. Right now, I'm going to do a video on it. My God, they're trying to get to an $830 billion valuation. I'm not even joking. In October, they got to a $500 billion valuation. They're now trying to get to an $830 billion valuation. The problem is the math just doesn't math. In no multiverse does Sam Altman's math. And so the issue is they're going to get hit at some point with a massive down round. They're going to get hit with just the down rounds of down rounds, where basically even if they can get investor money, the valuation that they're going to have to accept to get that investor money is just going to be so much below where it currently is. And that's one of the questions in the technology world is once a company gets it with one down round, and then you get another down round, you get another down round, and then you basically go to bankruptcy. Right? The big issue we have right now in the technology world, and especially in the AI space, is most of the disruption here, most of the innovation is far more around financial instruments and things like licensing and legal issues than it is about the technology themselves, right? The financial instrument innovation component is far outstripped LLMs or multimodal models or reasoning models or any of that kind of thing. And so the problem then becomes, right, if you lose the financing component, what happens with everything else, right? If you don't have enough money for turnkey, if you don't have enough money to actually turn the lights on your server rooms, what happens? And so it's kind of curious here, and this is where Anthropic has talked about this before, and now with xAI, kind of the idea of, hey, look, we have smaller AI companies, but if you have smaller AI companies that are far more focused on revenue and actually having users and that type of thing, will they be the ones to win at the end of the day, basically once Sam Altman has bankrupted OpenAI, right? When OpenAI is being cleaved off, parts are being cleaved off in a fire sale, maybe those parts can be purchased later by the AI companies that have been able to survive. So we take a look at this. Let's see here. At a company-wide meeting at xAI San Francisco headquarters last week, Musk told staff that if the company could survive the next 2 to 3 years, xAI would triumph over its competitors, several sources with knowledge of the meeting said. Which probably sounds about right. Again, we've got to be somewhere within the 2 to 3 year time frame of OpenAI just fucking vaporizing, right? Because that's one of the issues with bubbles and all this kind of thing. You know it's a bubble. You just don't really know when the bubble's going to pop. Honestly, when you're in the middle of the bubble popping, you might not realize the bubble has popped. And so it seems like 2 to 3 years is probably about a good time frame there. The xAI CEO said the company's ability to rapidly scale its power and data capacity would be a key ingredient in the race to achieve superintelligence, which surpasses human intelligence and become the most powerful AI company. Musk said that xAI could achieve artificial general intelligence, which matches or exceeds human intelligence in the next few years, even as soon as 2026. Musk said in November that xAI had a 10% likelihood of achieving AGI with its Grok 5 model, which he has said the company plans to release early next year. I think this is one of the problems we get to with Elon Musk, is he's always got to do more. He's always got to do more. He's always got to go further. He can't just lay down something good and just leave it. He just he's gotta keep going. And so that's an interesting thing, right? xAI could become one of the premier AI companies within the next 2 or 3 years. Will they get to artificial general intelligence? Fuck no. Because if AI doesn't exist, AGI sure as fuck doesn't exist. But anyways, they've always got it. And so I think that's the weird thing with this whole AI thing too, is there's this push to stupidity. They've all got to be arguing for these stupid ideas because they've got to always, push bigger and farther and larger in order to get that investment money. The CEO also told staff that xAI would have an advantage over other AI companies because it would have access to around 20 to 30 billion in funding per year, and it could benefit from its proximity to his other company, sources said. Tesla integrated Grok into its vehicles earlier this year. It's a benefit for xAI. I don't know if it's a benefit for his other companies, but it's one of those things to be thinking about how things work in the macro world. Now that he has xAI, and to be clear, xAI is his own corporation. It's its own company. You don't invest into Elon Musk. You can't buy equity in Elon Musk. You can buy equity in Tesla. You can buy equity in xAI. Well, somebody can buy equity in xAI. Somebody else can buy equity in SpaceX. But these are their own corporations. In the eyes of the law, entirely different human beings. But one of the interesting things basically, since Elon Musk has so much control over these different corporations, is he can force corporations to do things that are probably, frankly, not in their best interest. One of the things I've talked about before, right? For the Tesla shareholders, I would be very pissed off right at this point in time, right? Is basically he's trying to outsource a lot of AI capabilities to xAI. One of the things that he's literally come out and said, don't read between the lines, listen to what the fuck the boy says, is he literally says, look at how far xAI has come, look at how much hardware xAI has. It only makes sense that Tesla would be buying services from xAI as an AI vendor. And then you're like, but Tesla isn't a car company. Tesla isn't a power company. And I thought Tesla was an AI company, but if Tesla then outsources its AI to an entirely different corporation, as far as the corporate structure is concerned, it doesn't matter whether they're outsourcing to xAI or they're outsourcing to fucking IBM. It's an external corporation. So the value proposition for Tesla is that it's supposed to be like a robot AI company. It's a robot AI company that's going to be outsourcing its AI to another corporation. Anyways, if I was a Tesla investor, I'd be very concerned about that. But, right, if you're an xAI investor, that's pretty damn good, right? You literally have a trapped market. You have massive corporations, a $1.5, $1.7 trillion corporation. SpaceX is probably going to be another $1 billion corporation. You have corporations that basically they will use your AI services whether or not it's actually a good thing. So that's going to bring in a lot of money to xAI. And so again, that's a value proposition there. Why should a new investor put money into xAI? Look, we have 20 to 30 billion dollars of basically forced financial transfer every year. Why shouldn't you invest in us? Over the past year, xAI has rapidly expanded the footprint of its data centers, a project it has named Colossus. Earlier this year, the company said it had around 200,000 GPUs, and Musk said it plans to expand to 1 million GPUs. So it's growing. And so the big thing to be thinking about here, as I've said before, is do remember AI is a very exceedingly immature tech stack. The idea that we know who the winners and losers are, even how the architecture should look, is just completely wrong. And so it will be curious to see over the next couple of years, basically who goes boom, who goes bust. Like there's an interesting question. Could Mistral be the overall winner, right? They're only valued at something like 12 or 13 billion dollars. Look at that European piece of crap company, only worth 13 billion dollars. But again, if every other American company goes boom, right? If you're the last one standing, then you are in fact the winner. So I'll be curious to see how this works out. What do you think about this? Do you think xAI, if they survive for 2 or 3 years, they could be the winner? What do you think about this? With essentially forced economic financial transfer, right? He has SpaceX under his thumb. He has Tesla under his thumb. He can basically require his own companies to pay xAI. Whether it's pretty or ugly or whatever else, right? That is sales. That is revenue that can lead to profit, right? If he can drive $30 billion in revenue without even getting true external customers yet, what position does that put companies like OpenAI into? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Do remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, authority-less, gatekeeper-less, free to end-user, hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do. In Durham, North Carolina, we will also be having classes in Asheville, North Carolina, coming up pretty soon. If you're interested in our classes, take a look at silicondojo.com to see what our schedule is. Do remember free to end-user is not actually free. That's why I am screaming every day. If you'd like to support the project, there is a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.